best night's sleep I've had in a good while.
Dangers along Nipton Highway and I-15. In addition, a package courier found reported regained consciousness and made a full recovery. Now that's a delivery service you can count on. Those were our top stories. Gonna play a song for you right now. And it's about that special someone you find only once.
About that. No, sorry, I can't make it today. Yeah, I was looking forward to it too. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, I wonder how that 8-Bit Warrior video from a few months ago did. Okay, simply to say, that video did pretty well. If you don't remember, I made a video on the first book in the Diary of an 8-Bit Warrior series. Now, when it first came out, it was pretty successful, a couple hundred views. That was pretty good for my channel at the time. But what I didn't expect is that it is still getting views to this day! Right now, sitting at 1,100 views. And after a really long wait, only now am I deciding to revisit the series by covering book 2 in the series, called Seeds to Swords. Now, the first book ended on a cliffhanger, that being of the ominous expanding forest from over the village walls, and a creature spawning in the monster box that he had made right next to his bedroom. Now, I just got back from a Costco shopping trip, and I don't really feel like giving a full recap after the 10th ring I had to go through, so watch my first video before you do this. I'll be waiting. You done? Okay. Now, Run's whole Monster Box plan was a part of something to get all of his fellow classmates some real mobs to fight, but he wasn't really willing to let it out, so he went to Steve to go let it out. But Run didn't really have the anvils to ask Steve, so he went through his mind of all the other people he knew and realized, oh, I'm gonna have to do it. He expected something crazy. A zombie, a skeleton, a poo screamer. But actually, that's just a tiny little baby slime, just a little guy. Now, Run thought of smashing this thing so he could get a slime ball out of it, but his heart's too big. Long story short, he's got a pet now. Runt decides to name the little guy Jello, after a food that Steve talks about the slimes resembling. If you don't remember, Steve got isekai from Earth to Minecraft. The first part of the book is kind of slow, but Runt does give a top 10 of who's in the top 10 in the villager school. His rival Max, himself, Hawk, Pebble, this evil guy, Donkey, Sap, his best friend Stump, Porcupine, Cerebella, and Twinkle.
Hey, what's up? My name's Twinkle.
There's also a section where Earth, the village's supposed talented swordsman and combat guru, distributes this Golden Rules handbook. And the info given in this book is basically how to breathe 101 type of stuff. Like Golden Rule number 1, for example. This one comes with its own little fairy tale. Golden Rule number 1. Always build a door for your house. Once upon a time, a noob named Lenny never liked doors. They got in his way. They shut him down. He had to open them and close them. Without a door for his bare house, then he was free to run inside and outside without any delay. Then one night, Lenny couldn't understand why so many zombies were approaching his house with their arms outstretched. The zombies aren't coming in for tea, Lenny. Oh my goodness, the zombies aren't coming in for tea. Golden rule number 3, manage your inventory at all times. There once was a fierce and powerful warrior named X-Noob. Despite his name, he was not a noob, but the greatest warrior in all the land. No one could chop like him, no one. But as he ventured through the land, he chopped and swung at every bush and flower he could. Eventually, his inventory clogged with flower seeds and other random items drove this fearsome warrior insane. The greatest warrior Minecraft had ever known, able to cut a spider in half with a single chop, and yet it was the flowers that got him. But honestly, Golden Rule 31 is really quite the gem. Just look at it. Master Oogway, what's your wisdom? lily pad. So wise. There's like 3 more little stories in the book that are honestly really funny, but we got more stuff to cover. Let's see, that horrible nerd, Max, yeah, he's getting a redemption arc now. But only because there's someone so much worse, that being Pebble. The more I read, the more this turns into my Minecraft Academia. I gotta say. Anyway, this Pebble guy, he decides to destroy both Runt and Max's record books, which are important for school. So the two decide to make an alliance. Around this time is also when Breeze gets introduced, who seems to be very, very important down the line. All the while, Pebble just keeps bullying, and bullying. Apparently Max is concocting something, but it seems like it's taken a while. But Max's cooking has paid off because a rumor sprouts up of a friendly Enderman trying to get a potion of water resistance and being willing to pay 500 emeralds for it. Well, here's the thing though. Potions of water resistance don't actually exist. But with all of that money on the line, everyone's desperately trying to figure out how to make this potion. So what does Max do in response? Make a bunch of empty glass bottles. And to ensure there was no competition, this legend dug up every sandy area in the village. And with no sand to craft any new bottles, everyone will come running to Max and give him their money. Truly, a capitalist for the ages. The next day, Runt finishes reading Earth's Golden Rules Handbook, and while in town he sees an advertisement for the next one. The Ultimate Legendary Handbook. Mobs hate him. This top warrior's discovered one weird trick to beat any mob. Learn the secret technique that ninjas in the government don't want you to know about. This handbook has already been banned in 7 villages. Being a skeleton used to be so easy until the legendary handbook came out. For all the mobs out there, if you run to a noob and he's carrying a copy of the handbook, well, run. Just run. Tired of being a noob? Do you want to be a pro? Read on for a sample of the Ultimate Legendary Handbook, written by Earth. Ultimate Legendary Secret number 1. Use a sword to attack mobs. Once upon a time, a noob named Mike was a total noob. He was almost as noob as Steve the Noob, who was the mayor of Noob Town. And Mike was so noob that he didn't use a sword. He thought using a stick as a weapon would be almost as good. I guess this sword could use some enchanting. Ultimate Legendary Secret number 2. Even Mungo is afraid of the Ultimate Legendary Handbook.
Mungo's scared. Earthbook make tiny man too strong, so Mungo become farm man. Mungo's sad now. Mungo no like farm work. Mungo no like eat orange things, and brown things taste no good, but easier than eat tiny man. Earthbook make tiny man too smart. Okay, bye. Mungo go eat pie now.
Ultimate Legendary Secret number 3. Earth is way cooler than Steve. I used to be a bad warrior. For example, I once hugged a creeper because it looked sad and I thought it needed a hug. But not any longer. After reading the Ultimate Legendary Handbook, I'm now a combat teacher. Earth taught me everything I know, and I'm so thankful for that. Someday, I hope to be as amazing as Earth. It's not possible, but I still try. It's not every day that you see a smear campaign in your school textbooks. That's like if either the Democratic or Republican Party made some school handbook, and one of the facts in there is opposing party bad and cringe. Anyway, Runt and Max got to work with their glass bottle stand, with each of the bottles costing 7 emeralds a stack. Within an hour, Max and Runt made 21 emeralds, which is a little bit more that they can use to buy new record books. But that little crapwad Pebble was selling a stack of glass bottles for only 6, and then 5, and then 4 emeralds a stack. Both parties kept lowering their prices until Pebble really pulled the bottles free. But luckily, Runt knows Pebble's weakness, crafting, which brewing is a subset of, which means he isn't very good at it. Runt tells his friends to go get the ingredients, and announces to Pebble and everyone else that they are going to have a brew-off. They decide they're going to make potions of leaping, and whoever jumps the highest wins. Now, Pebble made just a regular potion of leaping. Runt made a potion of leaping too. But here's the thing. Stump gave Runt way too much glowstone dust, so instead of jumping 1.5 blocks up, he jumps 100. While hitting the Wally West fade up in the stratosphere, Runt sees the forest, that really big dark oak forest, and he sees something running through it. But he can't focus on that right now. He's falling like a raindrop, and he's trying to aim for that ever so tiny well in the center of town. Luckily, he survives though, yippee! And after this whole incident, a guy named Rio in the Matrix outfit gives Runt another of the Golden Rule handbooks, Volume 2, and he says to finish it by tonight. And Runt says, "This is cruel and unusual punishment, man, I thought. After today, I'm never gonna drink a potion again." The next day, Steve sees the cover of Golden Rules Volume 2 and crashes out. Just straight up crashes out. So much so that he has to be replaced by a new guy named Drill. Now, he's old like Earth, but as for Earth, he's at least a funny, nice little guy. Drill is horrible. He's grumpy.
Move, you underweight! I've seen zombies swim faster up waterfalls!
Drill keeps pushing Runt around, but also he gets paired up with Breeze for an exercise, which is when he gets to know her better. He figures out that Breeze is basically invisible, like, there is nothing about her that makes her stand out in any way. She is not good, she is not bad, she is literally the average student. You know, the kind to say, "Hi, how are you? Lovely weather we're having." Later on, Runt has a dream about Herobrine. That's pretty scary. Later that morning, the mayor of Villagetown addresses everyone on the growing dark forest issue. He says it's part of a mob strategy to get the dark forest closer and closer, as no sunlight can penetrate the trees, over to the village so that they can just attack right there without having to burn in the daylight. But the mayor assures that the village has survived plenty of attacks and they'll survive plenty more. The Matrix guy I mentioned earlier says that from now on students will face more and more difficult classes and that they'll have a final test of submitting an idea to protect the village from these trees. At some point, both Max and Runt hear strange noises and see strange things from these forests and decide they're going to go investigate. So Friday night, just after sunset, they go to investigate. While here, they find that the forest is actually artificially made. They find skeletons holding shovels, zombies holding saplings. Like, they made this place. And then they find this thing and run. As it turns out, it's a legendary mob called Urk Doomwhip. He actually wields a fishing rod that has pulling 2, a completely custom enchantment, and sharpness 7. He also has 3 times the life force of an iron golem, which is quite a bit. But he does have one weakness: heights. They go to report this guy to the mayor when they hear a distant explosion. Kaboom! And they hear a giant roar, which could only be Urk himself. Soon enough, mobs are pouring into the village, and this big battle begins. Some highlights include Runt defeating his first mob, the character named Emerald appearing, and afterwards, Pebble being hailed as a war hero. 15 zombies, 8 skeletons, 5 creepers, 1 hero. But he also apparently killed 2 spiders, an enderman, and a chicken. The new girl, Emerald, was actually praised even more, and these 2 were awarded with Hero Shroud cloaks that have fire protection too. And also everyone else who participated was given this lesser cloak, which, I mean, it's fine, I guess. Runt and Max resume what they were originally going to do and tell the mayor about Urk, but the mayor says that Urk is a legend, nothing more. The following Monday, there is no school. Yippee! But the mayor does institute what are called building codes, which have anti-mob upgrades attached to buildings. For example, building code A7F states that a door should be iron and activated with a button placed above. Runt has to literally almost rebuild his whole house with these upgrades, but the house ends up devoid of any warmth or feeling. Runt starts his Tuesday entry by saying, "After school, Brio kidnapped me again." I never really mentioned the first kidnapping, but I just find it so hilarious that this was just regular for Runt now. Brio talks of there possibly being a spy in the village, and it's possible that Jello could be a suspect. After this, Runt gives us a tour of his school, which for some reason he never did in the first book. He really only gave us an exterior drawing. Apparently this place is called the Villagers' School of Minecraft and Warriory. The place is huge. It's got like 20 classrooms and a bunch of other stuff, including a fountain where a bunch of merchants do business stuff, which is pretty cool. I'd love to see a map of this place. Near the end of the book, Runt gets assigned to a combat unit with Weirdo Stalker Girl, Breeze, the Great Bearded Noob, Earth, and Princess Hissy-Fit McCrybaby. He gets assigned to these people on a Friday. The mobs attacked last Saturday, so it would be too predictable for mobs to attack again the next Saturday, right? Right?
Tomorrow.
Facing the wrong way, you suck.
The village was under attack. The streets could have passed for the nicer parts of the Nether. Archers are ordered to fire in the park. Mobs start running really, really fast. 100 villagers charge at these mobs, led by Mike and Steve, along with Max and Stump. Runt, meanwhile, meets up with Earth and Emerald. During this part, it's revealed that zombies weren't actually moaning like normal here. They were using their deep guttural voices to utter in an ancient tongue, like straight up Skyrim dragon language type of stuff. When the three confront one of the zombies, he's shown to be holding TNT. So yeah, along with artificially making the forest and being able to hold this kind of stuff, these mobs are getting pretty smart. Soon, Runt and the gang get surrounded by these zombies, but they didn't advance. In fact, they started laughing because they got these swirls emanating from their chest. Red swirls. The swirls that just happen to be associated with strength 3. Yeah, they just might be cooked. Oh yeah, also reading this a few pages later, apparently that ancient tongue they were talking about is the enchanting table language. But suddenly, Breeze, of all people, comes in clutch and annihilates all of these zombies. Apparently she was hiding her true talent. About 50 blocks south of them, there's this evil laughter. And it turns out to be the myth, the legend, the Urk Doomwhip. There were 2 creepers at his feet. One uncharged and one charged, probably so he'd have some protection at his lower parts. But he actually ends up chucking one of these creepers at one of the buildings, including a centuries-old building called Snark's Tavern, which is apparently the only original building standing after the Creeper Rush of 1511. Okay, so this lore implication right here that the Diary of an 8-Bit Warrior world has at least this many years of history, and most likely thousands more. But all that history just kind of goes poof when the place is blown up by a charged creeper. Breeze managed to get a hit in on Urk, shattering his black helmet, but she also gets probably almost bodied from just one hit from his block-sized fists, like an iron golem hitting a baby rabbit, and she just goes flying. Emerald goes running. Earth probably did a little while ago, but I just never caught it. Runt devises a plan to make a big dirt pit with a little platform for Urk to stand on since he's afraid of heights. Jello suddenly appears. Urk scolds him for being a traitor. Honestly, for protecting Runt, I gotta say, Jello has surpassed Max in baseness, for sure. If Max and Jello became a duo, they would be unstoppable. Anyway, so the dirt pit thing doesn't work so well, but Runt does have a backup of using bone meal on a mushroom to raise Urk up in the air. Runt manages to do this with the help from a still alive Breeze. He manages to successfully do it. Also, this image goes really hard. Runt places TNT under the mushroom's cap, and Urk begins to say,
You will pay for this. Herobrine is coming.
Runt completely ignored what Urk was saying to him. Urk's last words are,
You little runt.
say that again? Oh yeah, right, he's dead. Runt's almost there as well, as he has half a heart left in his health, and his vision starts to go blurry and dim, and within moments, everything went black. But Runt's alive, as there's still a few pages left in the book. He says he didn't get much recognition for dropping Irk, since Breeze was the only one to witness it. Speaking of Breeze, Runt asks to see her record book. She actually shows him, and he's surprised by this. Damn! This is Runt's book for comparison, and the only reason he got that 100% in trading is because he fooled an elderly man who had to wear glasses by giving him a green egg that this elderly man thought was an emerald. I mean, Runt's level's pretty good, but it ain't that. Runt and Breeze go to get some ice cream and, just chill out after this big giant battle that's happened. As for the village itself, things are getting pretty dystopian. The mayor's in panic mode and strictly enforcing these building codes that he instituted earlier in the book, making literally every building in the village gray and lifeless. The guys in the robes are always patrolling and making everyone train 16 hours a day, and these people have search warrants for people's inventories. I mean, dang. There's also several building projects going on to heighten village's defenses, so overall, things are looking a bit grim. And that, my friends, ends the book. We will pick up soon with crafting alliances. I'll probably have that be my, a video 2 or 3 videos from now. I've got a few planned, but that'll be the next one after all those, for sure. It's clear that the last one attracted quite the audience, and it's been a year and I've probably lost it. As for the book itself, it's good. It's on similar quality to the first one. Max was definitely a highlight for sure. That last part of the book sort of reminded me of Invincible versus Conquest, just the roles, not the fight itself. That would have been crazy if the fight was like that. But just in general vibe, Irk does give off kind of a Conquest vibe, and Herobrine would be filling the role of Thrag. Cube Kid. Runt variant war when. But in all seriousness, this book was really, really fun, and I can't wait to see where the story goes in book 3. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have an awesome day. Hope you'll join us for whatever next video I put out, and I'll see you in the next one. That's the thing I just said. Bye.